All right. After that very short addendum on chapter two, let's talk about chapter two. I guess we're going to start off with the themes of body. There's this whole thing of like I had to relieve myself at a certain point. I had to take a shit. I had to take a piss, and but now he's someone who's gigantic. That it's going to take wheelbarrow loads to dispose of his feces and stuff like that, and you're getting a real sense of kind of like the body magnified up to this huge height, this huge thing, and this little civilization having to deal with that and deal with his appetite as well. I mean, I'm talking about the emperor having to basically get all his surrounding subjects to kind of all contribute to maintain Gulliver. You think Gulliver could very well bankrupt them. So there's that going on. They are starting to teach him language. The emperor himself coming around and helping every once in a while as they have a little chat. They search his body. There's a very amusing thing about the clock, his pocket watch, because he says like, oh, it's obviously something, there's either some kind of a spirit in it or he's worshiping it as a god. And they say worship is a god because he seems to regulate his entire life around this watch, this watch of his. Everything seems to like dictate, like that's where he consults it all the time for when he's going to do stuff. So it's like it controls him, not the other way around, which, looking at it from a certain perspective, this is all definitely about perspective. You can see that's the case. They take from him his scimitar, his sword, and his pistols, which they're, the scimitar, it catches the sun and that blinds them, and that's quite amazing. But he lets off just powder only one of the pistols, and it like makes hundreds of people just fall down in shock as of dead, and even the emperor takes a while to kind of compose himself. Oh, and there's a funny thing here of like the emperor is like the tallest amongst them. He's like, really a tall guy, which means he's like, just like the span, he's taller than like a bit more like the finger span of Gulliver's thumb. It's like, oh, we get so obsessed as human beings about like, how tall someone is, how big they are. But if viewed by a giant, we're all just sort of little minuscule 6-inch creatures. It's like it wouldn't make that much of a difference about size. So we're definitely getting all those kind of perspectives. He does, however, have one private pocket which escaped the search, and wherein there was a pair of spectacles, which I sometimes use for the weakness of my eyes, so he's nearsighted in a land of people who are tiny, and a pocket perspective, and some other little conveniences. I'm not quite sure what a pocket perspective is. I'll have to look up what exactly the heck a pocket perspective is, because it doesn't come up in my my handy dandy thing. But so that is chapter 2 of Gulliver Travels, where we're definitely getting that idea of perspective in this world, and the grossness of our bodies when magnified. Like, what do we do with all? Which, I mean, you look at our cities nowadays, and what's like here in Victoria, one of the great debates for the longest time was the sewage processing plant, which shamefully no one wanted to pay for, and we were letting a lot of this crap go into the ocean and polluting the ocean. It's like, this is actually a thing of, we are a giant in like with the size of our population, all the stuff of our bodily functions have to get dealt with, and just having Gulliver is actually a good illustration of that, of like, just one man, but blown up to, many times bigger. Well, he's not blown up, but he's in a world where everyone is tiny. So he is, I think they did the math, and he's like 1,728 times larger than the little beings that go around here. So yeah, quite interesting thing. Good way of getting at stuff. And that whole worshiping a watch as the god is something, especially in this time when we're in our culture, it's like definitely becoming a watch-based culture where we're measuring things by the hours, by the minutes, to varying degrees of accuracy at this point, but obviously even so close now that we have atomic clocks and stuff like that to really get exact time on stuff. We do worship time as time is our God. Yeah. All right. I will leave it there. More videos later.